Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am filming this video at the time where COVID-19 is a big issue around the world and in the country that I live in, the Philippines. We live in a world filled with errands and things to do. It's like everything is so accessible already that there's no reason for you not to do anything. And this modern world sometimes tempts us to spend less time with God. Right now, like in the Philippines, we are encouraged to stay at home as much as possible to do our best not to get infected by the virus. I feel like this season is the best time to know more about God, to experience His power and mercy, and the best way to know Him better is to spend more time with Him. And today, I just like to share some ideas on how you can spend more time with God. My first suggestion is for you to listen to anything God related, may it be podcasts, Christian music, or listening to the Bible. You can do these things not only when you're not doing anything, but while you're doing your errands at home. For podcasts, I love Pastor Rick Warren or podcasts like CCF and Victory Fort. CCF and Victory Fort are churches that streams their podcasts. I will put the link down below for you to find it easily. As for listening to the Bible, I have this app called Holy Bible. You have an option to listen to God's Word or to listen to the Bible. It's a nice alternative. Rather than reading the Bible, you can also listen to it. As for radio, I have this favorite Christian radio station right now. It's called Save Radio. It's a radio station here in the Philippines and it's easily accessible through App Store, or you can also access the radio station in their webpage. The more that I listen to anything God related, the more I feel positive to go throughout the day and the more encouraged I feel. It's like having this peace that I cannot understand. That's only because of God. And as you get used to listening to anything God related, you'll be so used to it that your day is not enough without it or without listening to anything God related. Next, add something about God in your daily planner. If you have a planner or if you don't, or if you do your planner in your mobile phone, that's okay. For example, as for me, I use a bullet journal every day. I usually put VOTD, and VOTD stands for Verse of the Day. I like to choose my verse for the day, usually at the morning. The reason for doing so is that whenever I face something throughout the day, or whenever I need to make decision, I'll just look back in that Bible verse and I'll just keep on thinking about God. However, I just like to remind you that whatever Bible verse that you'll be choosing for that morning, for example, it would not always fit your challenge for the day. What I mean to say is that it's okay for you to just write down the verse that you feel like you want to carry with you throughout the day, because maybe you might need this in another day, in another time, or maybe you'll be a blessing to your friend or to your loved ones by giving this Bible verse to them, because you never know, maybe they share something to you and you feel like that Bible verse that you chose for the day would help as an encouragement to them. Another thing that you can put in your planner is you write down 5 blessings that you had for the day. I feel like right now that as we live in a broken world, sometimes we tend to forget the blessings that we receive from God, which I'm sure that you got so many blessings for the day. And maybe sometimes we just fail to recognize it. Doing so will just help us to stay even more positive and hopeful in God. And what's good about that is that we practice a healthy habit on thanking God from the smallest things. And you know, God knows our heart when we are grateful for the small things that He has given us. And you know, folks, God will bless you in a way that you don't expect when you are grateful for the smallest things. I suggest that you open your push notifications in your mobile phone or in your iPad about God. There's this app, the app that I talked about earlier, which is the Holy Bible, has an option to open the notification about God and just remind you and just give you random Bible verses for the day. What I also like about this app is that they can also remind you to do your devotions if you haven't. Next, if you are a reader, maybe you have been reading a lot of books lately, I suggest that you read more books about God. Yes, the Bible is the most perfect book to know God better, but I also think that it's nice to hear from other authors on how they see God, on what they think about God, And if you don't have time yet to purchase books in the bookstore, ebooks are also easily available. I will put the links down below for the books that I also suggest. Next, if you feel like you haven't experienced God enough yet in everything that you're doing, maybe it's a good time for you to fast. Fasting is a good way to remind us that we are relying on God more than the food that we eat or than the things that we love to do. Actually, there are a lot of options for you to do fasting. May it be fasting your food or having one meal per day, or just giving up something that you really love doing for 1 week or more. It depends on your time frame. I'd like to share this Bible verse from Daniel chapter 1 verse 15. It says that after 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier than all the young men who ate the king's food. This is because Daniel and his friends has God with them, and they were really relying on God's strength, and they trust that God could give them even more strength than the food that the king and the others consume. Next, it's also nice for you to go walking. If you live near the park, or even if you don't, as long as there's a place for you to go walking, it's nice to just go walk and just think about God. Walking is one of the best times for you to pray and to listen to God more. My last advice for you is for you to join a community for you to know God better, such as finding a Bible study group or finding some things where you can serve Him. Being in a community that serves God will also help you learn more about God better. Always remember that as long as your heart is saying that you are doing it for God, then it's already spending more time as well with God. So as you spend more time with other people, it gives you a different lens of knowing Him better than just by spending time with God alone. But of course, it's also important for you to spend more time with Him alone, because there will be a different connection that only you and God could understand, that others won't be able to tell you, where you can only learn or experience things just by seeking God alone. So those are the 7 takes that I have on how you can spend more time with God. But before we end this video, I just like to remind you that the more we seek Him, the more that we will find Him as long as we believe. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that this video was able to help you and will also be able to help you in your journey with God.